Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back, fam. Man, listen. All right. I saw this Biden speech, you know what I'm saying, that he gave. And I think, you know what I'm saying, like we need to break down some of this information because it's kind of important, right? Not in what he said, because let's be honest here, all right, the dude is not there mentally. Like his faculties are just gone. Like he has no idea what's going on day to day. Like he is lost as lost can be. But I wanted to stand here and break this down because there's some things in here that I'm like, you know what, man, we can dispute some of this and we can laugh at some rest of it. Let's get into this and check this out. All right.
Thank you, General. Let me, before I begin, thank the participants in our roundtable today. 2 mayors, 3 mayors, chiefs of police, attorneys general, and community organizers are doing significant work in bringing down violent crime in their communities. There is no one answer fits everything, and it's about being engaged and multiple organizations being engaged. So I want to thank you for the time you spent with us today. And I warned you I'm coming back at you again for more information. And we just met, as I said, with a bipartisan group of mayors, law enforcement, and community leaders. And we discussed a comprehensive strategy that I'm releasing today to combat the epidemic of gun violence and other violent crime that we've been seeing in our country for far too long, that has spiked since the start of the pandemic over a year ago. Crime is historically rises during the summer, and as we emerge from this pandemic.
If you want to know why you're so tired so often, look at this banana. It's fresh, brightly colored.
Pandemic, with the country opening back up again, the traditional summer spike may even be more pronounced than it usually would be. For folks at home, here's what you need to know. I've been at this a long time, and there are things we know that work that reduce gun violence and violent crime, and things that we don't know about. But things we know about, background checks for purchasing a firearm are important. Ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. No one needs to have a weapon that can fire over 30, 40, 50, even up to 100 rounds.
Okay. Like this is kind of why I wanted to like get into this, you know what I'm saying? Because legitimately, look, all right. See this chart? This chart here breaks down, you know what I'm saying, murder victims in the United States. It's 2019, right? But whatever, you know what I mean, matters every year. The vast majority are handguns. Okay? Now look, I grew up listening to Leonard Skinner, right? You know what I'm saying? And Leonard Skinner, they said, look, handguns are used for killing. You know what I'm saying? That's the only purpose they have. I don't own handguns. I don't like handguns. I don't believe in handguns. The reasons I don't is because, you know what I'm saying, of the massive background checks and bullshit and all the nonsense you got to go through here in my state where I am to get a handgun. Rifle, you can walk out the fucking door, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? There's no waiting period. There's no nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all these type of things. Handguns are the problems on the streets. You can't hide a fucking rifle, okay? You can't hide a shotgun. Like, as far as, like, carrying it around, you just can't. Like, legit, I'm going to tell you a story, right? So, this week, I got upset because these 2 black dudes up north fucking was yelling and cursing at my 2 and fucking 4-year-old. And so I went and loaded up my 12 gauge, you know what I'm saying? And, like, I'm going to go fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, legit, I'm going to shove my shit down their throat and blow their fucking brains out the back of their fucking head. You know what I'm saying? I'm making an example out of these motherfuckers. And, you know, I'm sounding like these fucking worthless black pieces of shit fucking motherfuckers, right? Now, at this point, I was at the grocery store, you know what I'm saying, to get this phone call. I go to fuck back to the crib, you know what I'm saying, drop my groceries off at the house. And, you know what I'm saying, as I'm going inside and I'm carrying them in from, like, the driveway across the street because it's, like, street cleaning or whatever, black dude literally hops up off the porch, comes over to the back of the car, goes, "Let me help you with that." I go, yo, goddamn, I need to stop thinking the way I do. Like, legitimately, like, yo, these people up here are just useless motherfuckers. right? And the dudes where I live at in my city and the black motherfuckers around me, as they've always been my brothers, right? We've always stuck together and handled our business together. They've fucking rode for me. I've rode for them. And it's all love. Now, I'll tell you that story to tell you this. Guy helps and carry some shit in. I go to leave for work that night. You know what I'm saying? I calm down a little bit, do some thinking about stuff. And, you know what I'm saying, I run into that dude down at my local bodega where I'm going to grab a pack of smokes before I go to work. And he's like, yo, man, let me get a ride. I was like, oh, I got you. Where you want to go? Right? You know what I'm saying? This dude literally just changed my fucking life that day. And, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, take me down the hilltop and shit. It's like, I got you. So, you know what I'm saying? He hops in the car. We ride down. You know what I'm saying? I go drop him off. But as we're going down the road, he pulls a fucking hammer out of his pocket. And a gun, right? Pulls a gun out of his pocket. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, the motherfucker was legit, man. Sitting down with this motherfucker in my pocket is a pain in the dick. I said, I feel you, right? Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Little 45 and shit. It is what it is. You know what I mean? He's like, I've been carrying some around. He's like, I ain't got no intentions, you know what I'm saying, hurting nobody. But I just don't want nobody hurting me. Feel you, right? Probably completely illegal. Hang on. So, I was standing here, you know what I mean? And I understand what it is that, like, hammers is used for in the hood. I understand what guns are used for in the hood. And I'll be honest with you. I've never seen anybody carrying around a rifle in the hood. It doesn't happen. And you don't have high capacity magazines, you know what I'm saying, for, you know what I'm saying, 45s and 9 mils and, you know what I'm saying, Ds and shit. You just don't, right? I mean, like, you have some extended clips on, like, a Mac 10 or something. But, like, real shit. None of this stuff is full auto. There's no full auto guns in the fucking, you know what I mean, short of, like, stuff that is kept in a, you know what I mean, in like, somebody's closet. Like, yo, man, look, if I ever got to really take it out, I'm going to take it out. But it's just so rare that you run into these type of things, unless you're, like, down in, like, you know what I mean, the Southwest. And again, like, this mentality that we should stand here and ban high-capacity magazines to deal with crime is fucking retarded. Legitimately. The only people who have them are white people, right? And they just use them to go plinking and enjoy themselves and shoot at things out in the woods. Right? It's not something that's used. It's literally because he's fucking, he's going to state it later, he's fucking scared of the goddamn fucking people of this country who are getting fed up with their fucking bullshit. But anyway, like, I wanted to tell you all that fucking story. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's rock and roll and shit.
Unless you think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests or something. Community policing and programs that keep neighborhoods safe and keep folks out of trouble. These efforts work, they save lives. But over time, these policies were gutted and are woefully underfunded. In our conversation today, we talked about our strategy to supercharge what works while we continue to push the Congress to act on sensible gun violence legislation. First, we discussed cracking down, as you heard from the Attorney General, on rogue gun dealers. We know that if there is a strict enforcement of background checks, then fewer guns get into the hands of criminals. Background checks have thus far kept more than 3 million guns out of the hands of felons, convicted felons, fugitive, domestic abusers, and others prohibited from being able to purchase a gun. And there's still too many loopholes in that system. And today, enough rogue gun dealers feel like they can get away with selling guns to people who aren't legally allowed to own them. And I might add, the Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of patriots, you know, and all the stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there never been, if you want to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons.
All right, let's talk about this, right? Legit, let's talk about this. Because it's, you know what I'm saying, kind of important as far as things are really concerned. Because he just addressed a whole bunch of points. First off, you know what I'm saying, the Second Amendment, you know what I'm saying, legit. He said it's the right of people to, you know what I mean, keep and bear arms, you know what I'm saying, being necessary for a secure and free state, right, shall not be infringed. basic ass premise. You know what I'm saying? So no, it doesn't stand here and say, Mr. Joe, that you know what I mean, from the day one, like, why are you trying to gaslight people? Because that's legit. I've never said that. Why would you, like, that's just his fucking handlers trying to put something into his speech, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's saying. Like, yo, I hate addressing him. Right? Legit. I hate addressing Joe Biden. I hate, like, breaking down anything he says because, like, he's an Alzheimer's patient. Legit. You know what I mean? But, like, this is the government spokesperson. Apparently, this is what y'all want to trot out in front of me. So I'm going to have to break him down, which is dumb. I think we should just ignore him and pretend like he doesn't exist and, like, you know, we just deal with the issues at hand. You know what I mean? And, like, piece by piece, I don't know. Like, we need to pay attention to the fucking Congress and stop paying attention to this cocksucker. But in the meantime, we're gonna keep going on this here, right? You know what I mean? And he's talking about, like, F-15s and nuclear weapons to fight, you know what I'm saying, the military, right? And I kind of feel where he is. Like, you know, if you want to take on the U.S. military, granted, okay, we can talk about Vietnam, right? And how, like, you know what I'm saying, like a guerrilla, you know what I mean, warfare campaign kind of beat back the United States. But that's not really what they did. I mean, because, like, let's be honest here, right? Vietnam lost the Vietnam War. Like, real shit. They lost the Vietnam War. Whether, you know what I'm saying? I know, like, we have this mentality of going, like, oh, man, we pulled out and stopped fighting. Like, yeah, because we got tired of punching them in the face. Right? Like, we lost, like, something like, I want to say it was like 50 or 60,000 soldiers, something like that. And then we had a whole lot of casualties, you know what I'm saying? Just like injuries and people who were wounded, right? And, you know, just individuals who were fucked up with drugs and all this type of stuff. We had a lot of that. But, you know, they lost something like 10 million fucking people. Like, yo, or like 1 million fucking people, something like that. They got fucking rocked. And, like, they got that ass whooped. Same with Iraq, right? Same with Afghanistan. It's just, you know, keeping and holding territory that you're not planning on, like, conquering, like where you're trying to fix it after you just got done blowing it up, is very difficult. And that's where the United States tends to, like, fall down and fail because, like, you know, it's a nation building that we fuck up. You know, so understand something. Like, yo, we didn't lose these wars. And a guerrilla campaign on our part in the United States, I'm not absolutely certain what would happen, right? But the truth is that, like, yeah, they have drones. Like, if they wanted to go Bella Romanos on us, you know what I'm saying? You know, like the Rome war, the way the Romans did it. And if they decided to, like, you know, go full, you know, Palestine, Israel type of thing, where they just start bombing apartment buildings and shit, which I bet the United States military would, right? I bet they would, legit. Like, we'd get our asses handed to us because we don't have drones and planes and fighter jets and things of this nature. We could not maintain air superiority. We don't even have fucking radar. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have rockets and shit. And that's kind of where he's at. Like, if you want to fight the military, you're going to need some more serious gear. And I feel you. Now, ground-to-ground operations, all day, we can win, right? You know, like all this nonsense of checkpoints and all this, like, yo, you could never hold ground in the United States, right? Like, you could bomb the bullshit out of us, right, and kill a whole bunch of us, but you could never hold the ground. Like, that's kind of the mentality. That's the bitch. And that's why, like, conventional warfare today is still a thing, even though, like, we have the ability to drone strike, whatever. Problem is that we, you know, like, yo, we have to be able to hold the ground with military officers. Like, you have to be able to occupy that ground. And, like, yo, the military couldn't hold shit for long. Like, let's keep it 100. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like, especially, like, with the media covering for them, I don't know, man. I legit, I don't fucking know. Like, we'd have to, like, have some serious hacking ability to get back into the grid and be able to, like, fucking send out videos and pictures of what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean? And, like, you know, it'd be fucked up. I don't know. I'm not real sure what would happen. You know what I mean? Might be something we want to discuss someday on the live stream. But let's keep rocking a little bit. You know what I mean? Because this is what everybody's really upset about right here, by the way.
The point is that there's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapon that can be owned and who can own it. The last time we had data on this issue of who was purchasing guns was more than 20 years ago. 5% of gun dealers, turns out, in the study we did, showed that 90% of illegal guns were found at the crime scenes, sold by 5% of.
If you're trying to lose belly fat, stop doing cardio. That sounds backwards, right?
Of gun dealers, 5% sold 90% of the guns found at crime scenes. And these merchants of death are breaking the law for profit. They're selling guns that are.
4 minutes, there's been fucking 4 ads. Like, Jesus Christ, hell. I know they're broke. Like, legit, they're broke as fuck. You know what I mean? I don't want to give them any more goddamn money. Like, I really don't. But, like, we're going to watch this a little bit more of this, and then we're going to fucking stand here and, like, we're going to wrap this up.
Killing innocent people. It's wrong. It's unacceptable. As the Attorney General said, we're going to crack down on those gun dealers and the violent criminals they knowingly arm. In April, I announced that the Justice Department is going to be issuing an annual report on gun trafficking so we can update that data. Today, the department is announcing, as I just did, a major crackdown on stem the flow of guns used to commit violent crimes. It's zero tolerance for gun dealers who willfully violate key existing laws and regulations. Let me repeat, zero tolerance. If you willfully sell a gun to someone who's prohibited from possessing it, if you willfully fail to run a background check, if you willfully falsify a record, if you willfully fail to cooperate with the tracing requests or inspections, my message to you is this: we'll find you, and we will seek your license to sell guns. We'll make sure you can't sell death and mayhem on our streets. It's an outrage. It has to end, and we'll end it, period. Second, we discussed disrupting illegal gun trafficking. Now, the gun lobby wants you to believe that cities that are had the toughest gun laws still have the highest rates of gun violence, as was pointed out by the group we had today in our roundtable. The violence is, so they argue, why do you need those gun laws if they don't work in cities that have tough laws? Don't believe it. Here's the truth. Today's conversation with Mayor Scott of Baltimore, for example, echoed what we know to be the case and hear from mayors all across the country. Mayors have the power to help shape and enforce the laws in their cities, but they can't control the laws in neighboring cities and states, even though the gun legally bought there often ends up in their streets. Mayor Scott says that 80% of the guns in Baltimore were acquired outside the city. Outside the city. There's little he can do about that. So we have to act. As part of our strategy, the Justice Department is creating 5 new strike forces to crack down on illegal gun trafficking and the carters supplying weapons to cities like New York.
Well, like let's address this real quick, right? Because like the Romans and the Greeks and everybody, like the Romans, the Greeks, the Assyrians, the Persians, everybody had this, even the Brits, they had this mentality of where you stood here and governed different people differently, right? And I think that's kind of what needs to happen. Like, everybody needs to stop living by the same rules. You can't have individuals who live in the country live by the same rules as individuals who live in the cities, because like you can sell millions of guns to people who live in the country and they don't commit crimes, as we've noticed. You know what I'm saying? And the amount of guns, like you could sell one gun to somebody who lives inside of the city and it's probably going to murder somebody, right? That's the reality of it. We need to have different laws for different places and different laws for different citizens. If you want to be considered a city dwelling individual, then you need to live under their jurisdiction, right? And that means that you don't get to have firearm rights, which is fine. But everybody else in the country, who lives outside of that, like they need to have the opportunity to be able to do what they want to do to deal with, like the criminals in their neighborhoods, because like, they don't have the issues of criminality that they do inside of the cities. And I honestly believe that as a whole, right? And that's something that needs to be addressed, because let's be honest here, all right? AR-15s and AK-47s and, Uzis and, M50 cal, Barretts and shit, like all these fucking guns that are just monsters, they don't commit crimes. Nobody gets killed with these guns in the United States. No one. No one gets killed with these guns in the U.S. as a whole. Right? The individuals who die are from fucking, again, you know what I'm saying, handgun problems. Handguns are the issue in the end of the day. Right? So, like, I don't understand why taking away, you know what I'm saying, the guns that aren't causing a problem are going to solve the problems of the fucking individuals who, you know what I mean, get shot with fucking handguns. Like, how does that fucking solve anything? In the end of the day, it's like saying, like, oh, man, you know, Mustangs are out here wrecking into everything because the drivers don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're too goddamn powerful. Let's ban fucking Honda Civics. That's fucking dumb. You know what I mean? That don't make any goddamn sense in the end of the day. Anyway, yo, look. I'm going to wrap this up, you know what I'm saying? Because this is where the fuck, you know what I'm saying, Joe Biden is. And that was the speech that he gave. And everybody stood here and, like, this is why, like, I fucking can't stand guys like Tim Pool and all these motherfuckers in the end of the day. Because they're just fucking retarded. Like, yo, legit. They're here to gin up, like, the left-right fucking paradigm. And I'm not with it, man. I'm not going to do it. Because I'm not about this left-right nonsense. I don't do that shit. It's not my thing. I'm not about it. Anyway, yo, look. I'm Tom Peters of Pnoid News. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all know what it is. Peace.